Good evening. This regular meeting of the Township Council is being held in accordance with the scheduled meetings of the Township Council established and adopted by the Township Council, which schedule designated the time, date, and place of this meeting. Adequate public notice of this meeting has been provided pursuant to the provisions of the Open Public Meetings Act. We are using electronic amplifying and recording device in order to obtain a clear and audible record. We request all those wishing to speak be recognized and state your name and address directly into the microphone. The recording device will be solely utilized by the Township Clerk's Office for the preparation of the minutes and shall be the official record of the Township Council meetings. Roll call, Madam Clerk.
Mr. Hutchison?
Present.
Mr. Schmidt?
Present.
Mrs. Stubbs? Present. Mrs. Winters? Here. Mr. Mignone?
Here.
Mrs. Strato? Here. Mr. Mercado?
Present.
Mr. Electric is on vacation. Deputy Chief Harkins?
Present.
Mr. Carlemere?
Here.
Ms. Eric? Here. Mr. Campbell?
Before we go into the first public portion, there was a add-on, first public portion for agenda items only. Mr. Carlemere, if you could please tell the public about it. We did add that on the board there? Okay, thank you.
The township, as all council members know, it's initiated several properties in rent foreclosures. We've initiated tax lien foreclosures and certificate that the township holds, and several of them, a total of around 37 of them right now in a foreclosure process. The one property owner stopped in my office, has been calling me over the last week, and also came in today. The owner now is 520 Davistown Road LLC. He was the previous owner of the property that sold it to the individual that went in foreclosure, not only on his mortgage but also on the taxes. So we initiated our tax lien foreclosure. His total tax was around $190,000. It's around 110 original taxes, rest of interest, accumulated interest and penalties. Statute allows an installment payment with redemption of a tax lien certificate. He proposed $110,000, which gave me a certified check today. We drew an agreement that he pays the balance over a period of 1 year. His payments will be around $6,730 a month, plus interest has to be added to that. He's aware of that. So that type of resolution has to be approved by the governing body. So I told him I would initiate it tonight. If the council approves it, I have the $110,000 check to the tax collector, and then each month he'll make the additional plus his regular quarterly payment. If he misses any of those payments by statute and by agreement, it goes back into foreclosure.
Okay. So we'll have that as resolution R-16, colon 06-207, and will be separate from the consent agenda.
Okay.
Okay, now we open the first public portion. This is open for any agenda item only. Agenda items open. Anyone wishing to speak, please raise your hand. Mr. Heimbold?
Pete Heimbaugh, Morningstar Court. I just have a real quick one. The bill list for this meeting wasn't available on the website as a document to look at, so I just, if you can make that available, thank you.
We'll make sure we make that available when the agenda goes up. Thank you. Anyone else? Seeing none, we'll come to the first public portion. Proposal. Ready to read this?
Yeah.
Proposal for additional engineering inspection services, Blackwood Lake Dam maintenance and seepage repair. Mr. Campbell, do you want to add anything to that?
Yes, this proposal for us work for engineering was involved work we have done and still need to do to revise the permit for the Gloucester Lake Dam. We already been through the process with the state. The permit is being revised or has been revised. This relates to our change order for the contractor. It's resolution number 194. The reduction in cost to the dam is about $99,000 in the construction costs. To get there, though, we had to do a lot of jumping through a lot of hoops with the state to prove that we didn't have to put the groundwork. That some of the work that had been done and work that needs to be done can be done a lot cheaper. That's the reason for the increase in the engineering cost.
We just need a straw poll for this. Madam Clerk?
Mr. Hutchison?
Yes.
Mr. Schmidt?
Yes.
Mrs. Stubbs? Mrs. Winters?
Yes.
Mr. Mignone?
Yes.
Mrs. Trotta?
Yes.
Mr. Mercado?
Yes. Ordinances is first reading, there'll be a hearing at the second reading. Ordinance 0-16-11, ordinance amending Chapter 81 of the Code of the Township of Gloucester entitled Vehicles and Traffic of the Code of the Township of Gloucester. This specific ordinance talks about the regulation for movement and parking on a private, parking of traffic on private property open to the public. It talks about penalty for overnight parking, specifically at Commerce Square on Blackwood Clementon Road between the hours of 9 p.m. to 6 a.m. If you travel down Blackwood Clementon Road on certain weekdays and even on the weekends, you'll see trailers parked there overnight. I entertain a motion to accept, make a motion on the ordinance.
I'll make that motion.
I'll second.
On the record, roll call.
Mr. Hutchison?
Yes.
Mr. Schmidt?
Yes.
Mrs. Stubbs? Mrs. Winters?
Yes.
Mr. Mignone?
Yes.
Mrs. Trotta?
Yes.
Mr. Mercado?
Yes. Ordinance 0-16-12. This is ordinance amending Chapter 53A of the Code Book entitled Flood Damage Prevention of the Township Council of the Township of Gloucester, County of Kansas, State of New Jersey. This was some housekeeping that was done, required by the state. Talks about flood damage prevention and how it's our responsibility as a township to protect human life and health, have minimal exposure of public money for costly flood damage, minimize flood damage to public facilities, ensure that there are potential buyers are aware of special flood hazards, and also to designate a flood coordinator, which is the construction code official. I entertain a motion.
Make that motion.
Is there a second?
Second.
On the question? Roll call, Madam Clerk.
Mr. Hutchison?
Yes.
Mr. Schmidt?
Yes.
Mrs. Stubbs?
Yes.
Mrs. Winters?
Yes.
Mr. Mignone?
Yes.
Mrs. Trotta?
Yes.
Mr. Mercado?
Yes. Next, we have our resolution of the consent agenda. Any council person that wishes to remove any of the items, please speak up. Hearing none, I entertain a motion to accept the consent agenda as presented.
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
On the question, roll call, Madam Clerk.
Mr. Hutchison?
Yes.
Mr. Schmidt?
Yes.
Mrs. Stubbs?
Yes.
Mrs. Winters? Mr. Mignone?
Yes.
Mrs. Trotta?
Yes.
Mr. Mercado?
Yes. Resolution -16-06-207. This is to satisfy the tax lien. Certificate.
You forgot?
Oh, I'm sorry. Sorry.
It's an alcohol.
Oh, I'm sorry. We did that. Okay. Consent agenda. These are for our liquor license renewals, 197 to 206. Madam Clerk, you said you need to table
I
one
would
of
like
these?
to table 206 at this time.
I entertain a motion to remove 206 off the consent agenda of liquor license renewals.
Table.
Is there a second?
Second.
On the question? Roll call to remove 206 off the consent agenda.
Mr. Hutchison?
Yes.
Mr. Schmidt?
Yes.
Mrs. Stubbs?
Yes.
Mrs. Winters? Mr. Mignone?
Yes.
Mrs. Trotta?
Yes.
Mr. Mercado?
Yes. Now to accept the consent agenda, liquor license renewals 197 to 206. Is there a motion?
I'll make that motion.
Is there a second?
Second.
On the question? Roll call, Madam Clerk.
Mr. Hutchison?
Yes.
Mr. Schmidt?
Yes.
Mrs. Stubbs?
Yes.
Mrs. Winters?
Yes.
Mr. Mignone?
Yes.
Mrs. Trotta?
Yes.
Mr. Mercado?
Yes. Now, resolution semicolon 06-207. This is to satisfy, the Township of Gloucester authorizing an installment agreement in lieu of REM foreclosure. Mr. Carlmer explained at the beginning of the meeting what the resolution pertains to. I entertain a motion to accept resolution 206.
I will make that motion to accept, I believe it's 207.
207.
Second.
Is that on the question? Roll call.
Mr. Hutchison?
Yes.
Mr. Schmidt?
Yes.
Mrs. Stubbs?
Yes.
Mrs. Winters?
Yes.
Mr. Mignone?
Yes.
Mrs. Trotta?
Yes.
Mr. Mercado?
Yes. We did not receive any GT.gov e-access emails. We'll have our second public portion, which any item can be addressed to Township Council. Mr. Polidoro.
Meeting Council, Ray Poldor. Ariel?
Evening, right?
First, I want to start off by saying, Mr. Carlemere, when you were describing that additional add-on, it was extremely difficult to hear you. Your microphone is pretty far away. Had it not gone before the second public portion, I would have asked if you would have preferred to repeat that. It is difficult to hear you when you go through some of those things. Quite often, not this time. It's already passed. It's irrelevant now. On the aggregate that is beginning to take shape with letters going out, and some of the people in the northern end of town are just beginning to get that. Upon doing some research, we're finding that other parts of the state operating with no one's doing across the state we can see quite like we're doing it. But some of the other facilities that are calling around and soliciting folks to save on electricity, anywhere between 2 and 2.34 cents per kilowatt hour, and we're getting 1 in the southern end and not quite 1 cent in the northern end. Is there any reason why we couldn't get a better deal than what we've got for the Township of Gloucester?
Excuse me. For the last 2 years, they've been trying to get a better rate. I was not involved in negotiations. It is a cost savings to the residents. The figures you have, I'm not aware of the towns that received 2 cents or 3. Was it 2 point? How many cents?
Anywhere from 2 cents to 2.34 cents,
Okay.
and that's.
What were those towns?
There's quite a few of them scattered in the middle and northern part of town. Actually, it's something quite easily you can find on the internet as
Can you
well.
share it with us since you brought it up?
Not at this time. We'll let you guys.
Okay, thank you.
Hey, listen.
Next.
I did.
Okay.
I did my homework. I was hoping that would have been something you would have done before you agreed into this deal.
That might affect our decision.
I'm sorry.
You never know. It might affect somebody's decision.
That might be
It might have been a.
privatization.
It might have been a good thing to check out before passing that.
Well, thanks for sharing. What else? Yeah.
Okay. People that are getting a letter and have already gotten a letter are being told, and correct me if I'm wrong, Mr. Carlemere, they have 30 days to opt out from the time that they get the letter.
That's correct.
That is not applicable to Summerdale, who in their quarterly letter has an opt out at any time. Is that correct?
Well, even though once you're in, you can always opt out at any time without additional penalties. Some of these private solicitations that are out there, if you opt out, then you get hit with penalties. But this government aggregation under the statute, you can opt out. Initially, you have to opt out, otherwise you're automatically in. Once you're in, you can opt out at any time.
I don't think the information going out to the township right now is very clear on that. Whereas Summerdale's quarterly newsletter indicated to their residents that they could opt out at any time. The ones that are circulating here in our township, basically just telling a 30-day opt-out period. I don't think it's very clear that they can opt out after they're captured into that program.
I got a letter, I thought it was very clear.
There's a Q&A on the township website as well.
Yeah.
Okay, just
I mean, I
Make-
thought my letter was very clear that you could opt out at any time.
Yeah, that would. Right. I'll take a look at it right.
what's that? I got my letter a couple weeks ago. Mine. What's that? I'm sorry.
Can I see it?
This is my agenda. That's okay. Now, at the end of the term, to which the township's agreeing on, some folks that have switched over, and not a program like ours, just asking as a matter of, do we have an assurance so as not to fall into this category. After the program runs its course, and you choose to go back to your the previous provider, there seems to be a period of time to which they switch you back. Could be anywhere from 60 to 90 days. In that time period, when the rate increases, it's increasing at a rate to which it almost, and more times than not, wipes out the savings that folks got. Was there mention of this in the agreement with these two companies, that when the program ends, there will be a timely change for people to go back without getting a price hike and being locked into that for whatever that transition period is to go back?
No, I'm not familiar with the answer to that.
Was that before everybody gets slammed into these programs. So that's something that we can get information on and be assured of. It is the time period to which it ends and the time that you are switched back, that you're not held into that category with the new pricing.
Who's hitting you with the new price, the increased price?
Well, after this period of time, and it's locked in till that time, there's no guarantee that it will stay down. There's no time that it will go up or down.
Let's break this, let's tear this apart.
It's hard to hear you,
okay?
Dan. I'm sorry. I'm right there.
Let's tear this apart then, okay? You get locked in, right? But you can opt out anytime you want, right? Your question is, when the period ends,
Yes.
defined by what? What is the period end date?
Whether you, let's say you opt out on August the 31st.
3 months in, let's say 3 months into this
Okay.
proposal, Ray opts out.
Right. And what is the period of time to which you get back to your regular
Who's
provider?
increasing the price?
Well, it also depends on who releases you.
Who's increasing your price then?
At the end of the program,
No, but you're opted out before that.
people that run the course of this program, whether it's 12 or
At the end of
14
14
months.
months,
Okay,
and
so
you go back to the regular program, what assurances do you have that you're not gonna get hit with that increase?
You're gonna pay market value of whatever.
And that you can transition.
Whatever it is, you're gonna pay.
Exactly. But what is the transition period to which, when you're done that you get back to Atlantic City Electric?
Who's the, yeah, but let me ask you this.
It's not an overnight thing.
Doesn't.
No more than it is opting in.
Don't the rates fluctuate for everybody? I mean, I'm not really familiar with the Board of Public Utilities, okay? But I would think that the rates are gonna fluctuate for everybody, not just one person.
Well, ironically, at the end of the year, when you're with Atlantic City Electric, PSE&G, they get credits at the end of the year to which they pass back the savings to the residents. If I'm not mistaken, that credit that you would have received, now you don't get because now you're with a third-party supplier. Whether they get it or not, I'm not certain. I believe.
I sense that you're looking for any possible odd that you can say, maybe they don't know if it's dotted or not. And you're saying, stop this thing, stop it. Okay? I mean, really, Ray? We're getting a savings. And you refuse to jump on board with it because it's our plan.
Dan, I don't subscribe to the same ideology that you do. I don't believe in government intrusion. I don't believe that government should dictate what you do, make you have to opt out. That's called government intrusion. So, looking at all the perks, if it was so good, people would want to sign on. They shouldn't have to sign out. So we're looking at all the ideas. We're looking at all the things that go on. We're checking with the other companies that are out there. We get two pretty good companies. I'll give you that.
Ray, can I say, I just wanted to go back to what you originally said in the beginning about the rate. We did go out to bid and get the lowest rate, so.
That was available for that. Now, my understanding that was a auction bid, a verbal auction bid?
I don't know exactly how it was received, that it wasn't in my office, but I do know that it was a bid that was received to get the lowest rate for the residents.
Well, let me ask this, is that bidding process, is that a operable process? Is that not public records? And if it was a verbal bidding, how would you record that?
Why don't you make it open?
I would imagine it's an operable request. Do you have any more questions?
And-
Time's up.
Unless the answer was you're not sure if it was a verbal bidding.
As I said before, it wasn't handled in my office, so I can't be definitely sure how it was handled, but from my knowledge, it was done by bid.
Okay, thank you.
So if you would like to, I'm sure you could send an over request to the clerk's office, and we could research it more to find out exactly what the procedures were.
All right, thank you.
And I'd love to see your research, right, about the different towns throughout the state that got better rates. I would love to see that.
I'll bring that to the next meeting, the
No, actually,
regular meeting.
You can get in touch with me, you have to get in touch with me.
I do.
I'd like to see it beforehand.
Okay.
Okay?
Everyone have a great Independence Day.
You as well. Anyone else? Yes, ma'am.
Good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
Thank you. My name is Dorset Kelly. I live at 504 Tanglewood Drive in Sicklerville, New Jersey. And I'm here tonight to bring awareness and ask for assistance with an ongoing nuisance bar in our neighborhood, Vince the Valari's Tiki Bar on Sicklerville Road. I and my neighbors have been constantly subjected to the escalated and elevated noise nuisance emanating from this bar, sometimes 7 nights a week. The noise is loud, excessive, constant, unreasonable, and overly disturbing. For well over 10 years, I and my neighbors have tried all avenues known to us at the time to try and get relief from this ongoing noise nuisance bar. Year over year, the volumes lengthen in time and days have increased and have worsened and have given us, excuse me if I start again. For well over 10 years, I and my neighbors have tried all avenues known to us to try and get relief from this ongoing noise nuisance bar. Year over year, the volumes, length of time, and days have increased and have worsened our sleep habits, disrupted our quality of life and home life, both inside and outside of our homes. When the doors and windows are closed, we are tortured with loud thumps, voices, startled sleep, disturbances, and ongoing broken sleep patterns. This is just when the doors and windows are closed. When they are open, it is completely unbearable. On the evening of March the 10th of this year, we had begun calling the police for any nuisance that the bar has been emanating for us. We met with the mayor, and we had the support of the officers to do so. And we met with the mayor back in October of 2015, and he instructed us at that time, when the bar began again, to begin this call process to have the officers ask them to turn the music down. So lo and behold, as I said, on March 10th, that's when the new year, if you will, began with this nuisance bar. At that time, 2 officers and a lieutenant had come out and spoken with me and our neighbors personally. The lieutenant asked if he could come inside my home to hear what it is we hear inside our home. And he just admitted himself, he said, this is totally ridiculous, and that this should not be happening. We hear inside, and was appalled, the lieutenant was, by the level of disruption in the privacy of our own home. In addition to the noise, the concern of safety and vandalism have arisen as patrons of this nuisance bar illegally park their cars, travel through, and on occasion have littered our community. We live in the courts at Stonebridge run townhome. All those we have sought assistance from in this nuisance bar matter rely upon the state and township noise ordinance, and we, the neighbors, are intimately knowledgeable of this ordinance. I am here to tell you this evening, it is not working. A decibel reading of 65 coming across the lakeside directly into our neighborhood and homes is suffering and torture. We need intervention, township management of this nuisance bar, in addition to restrictions on how the noise nuisance bar's ability to perpetually take away a community's quality of life, living, peace, and comfort. As residents, we are homeowners and human beings. The patrons who choose to patronize this nuisance bar make a conscious decision to do so. I and my neighbor's choice is taken away from us nightly. We live here. We have no other options. Council, we and I are beseeching you to help us in this matter as tax-paying residents here in Gloucester Township, Camden County. We need your intervention in controlling this nuisance bar that is destroying our neighborhood, health, and sanctity of life. I've done some research, of course, in terms of the noise ordinance, the nuisance code. I'm coming up against walls along with my neighbors and everyone telling us that they're always within the allowable decibels, which between the hours of 7 a.m. and 7 p.m. is 65. Well, that may sound reasonable on paper, but when you're living it, it is not. I would ask any of you to come to hear what it is that we are hearing in our neighborhood any night. This bar has begun increasing, as I said, the days. They started out as a restaurant, if you know Valari's, which was La Vigna, when that place established. In 2001, I believe it is, when the new owners took over, then they began adding bit by bit by bit. They added an outdoor patio. They added a DJ. And now they have these bands that are there Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday evenings. And as I said, sometimes 7 days a week, because you could hear them sometimes during the daytime hours. There was a Monday afternoon, noon. We hear the loudspeakers where they have someone in there soliciting solar panel windows. We're having a conversation here today. This is what we hear. It's not a muffled sound or noise that has gone away. It has gotten continually worse. The outdoor ban, the question that I also have is, what are the parameters for these businesses in a residential community to have these outdoor bans where the noise is reflecting directly into our community, as though we're sitting there each of these evenings that these bands are performing and the DJs and the music is going on all hours of night?
Ms. Kelly?
Yes.
The music, so is the music emanating mostly from the Tiki Bar, or when you said March, were there warm March days and
Oh,
they had the Tiki Bar open? Or
that is
it just
correct.
Also from the bar area in the wintertime?
It is from the Tiki Bar.
Tiki Bar.
They started this year as early as March. The only relief we get is when we have bad weather, where they cannot be outside with the DJ or with the bands.
And how late do they go?
They now go until 10 p.m. The owner, they used to go until midnight, and I don't know what happened, but now it has come down to 10 p.m., whereby they're stopping the band and the noise, but you still hear the residual noise coming across because they're outside and the noise is traveling.
People are outside, not the band.
The band, not the band, but the DJ is outside as well.
After 10?
Yes.
Ms. Kelly, is it possible that you can huddle up with the deputy chief? And you have had conversation, I guess, with our community policing or?
Yes, with Officer McLaughlin, yes.
Chief will have a conversation.
We're very well aware. We've met with the mayor. We presently, don't quote me, I believe we have 4 citations that are in our municipal court for violations of the sound ordinance. I think there's at least one of them that is pending. And we're working regularly. The 10 o'clock time change was a result of community relations meeting with the bar owners. The bar owners claim they put further landscaping in, and I'm not sure it's had enough effect on them. It is something that we are every Friday, Saturday night, and at least every Friday, Saturday night, because that's our complaint. We've had analysis done that we're there. We have officers there. We have the noise meter is a very sophisticated piece of equipment. It takes a week-long training, but officers that are working get called in on overtime because of this issue to address it. And we are well aware of their concerns. We're currently exploring a different improved noise ordinance. Again, I'm not an expert. It takes a lot of expertise with decibels and whatnot. We have the officers that are. We're in the process of examining if that's going to give us some relief or give us some assistance with that. We were going to be, we've met with the mayor several times. We've met with the residents there. It is something that we're aware of. It is an issue. We're trying to get a resolution for it as best we can. And Officer Rios, do you have anything to add? I mean,
no, you pretty much touched on everything.
So
we definitely are. We do hear you. And
we
are
hear you.
trying.
We're doing the patrolling, the issues about them parking in your neighborhood. We're actively patrolling on that. And please don't hesitate. They call us and we encourage them to call us because that's what we're doing. We're going inside people's houses and seeing what the problem is. So it's a complex situation, trying to balance it out and get some resolution with them. It's an active issue that Chief Earl and myself are personally involved in.
Ms. Kelly, can you give the clerk your phone number so
Yes.
I can contact, come up here so we can share with everybody?
I think we've met with her, but I think Jen has this issue.
very much. Make sure we have it covered. Is there anyone else? Yes.
Joanne Carr, Timber Birch. I was back so far, you didn't know who I was, did you?
Nah.
Sorry to be late. About 8 years ago, I came before you and asked about an umbrella, the organization to go for utilities. I didn't know the term aggregate at that time. So, I mean, like, I really do like the idea of it and the plan of it, but I do have some questions. I keep getting these phone calls, you know, the ones that blip when you answer and then on comes the robocall. But they're telling me that within the next few months there's going to be a 14% increase in our electric utilities. If we are in this program, will that affect us within this 14-month period?
Well, I also received those robocalls too. And these are solicitors who are trying to engage us into.
Right, to
switching
pull you
over to
away.
that. Exactly. I don't know about potential increase. I know we're locked in for 14 months at this particular rate.
Okay. Now, we're locked in for 14 months. Ray was talking about the 15th month. Are we still in the program in the 15th month, or do we have to, will we be getting a notification as to a rebid of what the next rate will be from 15 through
I
whatever?
imagine we would go out to rebid to see what the rates are.
But we would still stay in that program.
Program at the end of 14 months to cease at that particular rate.
It would cease at that particular rate, but what I'm saying is,
What happens in month 15? That's kind
Month-
of the same question. Right.
month 15, am I still in the program, or do I automatically get dumped out and go back to PSE and G?
Process that would take place prior to the expiration.
So they'll send us
Why would
information.
anybody, it doesn't make sense to do anything but that. Rebid prior to the end of the 14th.
Well, you know, I have to tell you, I got my electric bill, and it says, you know where it says, this is the number to compare if somebody's trying to steal you away? It's lower than what Con Ed has for me. So now I'm confused and I don't know what to do. I mean, my rate that I am paying, PSE&G, is 0.117413. The aggregate is going to be 0.11897. So now I'm thoroughly confused. And I do have to admit, when they sent the thing out, I was confused about the 30-day opt-out. But they did supply a card, which makes it really convenient if that's what you choose to do. And I have to give you one other bit of information. My next-door neighbor is one of the many who have solar panels on, and he pays next to nothing. So he dropped his little card in the mail. So that's that many fewer people we have in the aggregate, or umbrella, as I would say. So, but these are just a few questions that I have. I guess I'll have to call somebody.
Well, for the 15th month, as Dan had stated, we're going to rebid before that.
Right.
And I would imagine there's like a drop everybody. Month 15, you're not going to know what to do.
Right.
So there'll be a rebidding process. As far as what your rate is there,
Maybe I'm using the wrong numbers, but I just took it off the electric bill. It says, this is the number you use to compare. So I compared it, and it's less than what Con Ed is going to be. So I'll have to make a few phone calls.
okay.
Okay.
Keep us in the loop.
And I'm not sure about this, but I may be wrong, but I think that the rate is locked in. Is it locked in for
14 months.
where
Right.
you're paying now may fluctuate? It could
Okay.
go up, so I think that's, I'm not an expert on, but
Okay.
I think that it's locked where it won't increase, or if it does increase, it has to be.
Well, we're locked for the
increased.
14 months.
Right, where right now it could go up 20% and you have no control.
Right. Well, I was one of those people that Ray was talking about. I signed up for Gateway, I was gonna save the money and everything. And the year went by and there it was, and it was sky high, and they dragged their feet and took so long in letting me get out of it. I lost every bit of money that I saved in paying the fees they were charging. So I just want to be careful with this, because I wasn't about to, I told my father, we're not signing up for anybody or anything. This is something else. So we'll consider it. We'll see what we can do. Another question, when I was here before, I was asking about the educational. I saw the TV ads, and you had said, just as when we had the recycles, they would be advertising and all. How is the advertising being paid for? We've got 3 towns.
We answered that at the last meeting. That's through the third-party supplier.
Okay, so they'll cover all those costs. Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Our DJ out there is getting a little wet, but it sounded like they were having a good time.
Is there anyone else? Mr. Heinball.
Heinball, Morningstar Court. I do have a couple questions regarding the aggregation program also, but one quick question before that. What is the current status of the O'Neill rehab facility lawsuit that was
I have.
against the township?
I have not received any updates from the firm that's representing us. We have to carry this. I know it's in its initial stages, but we go through the discovery process, so I don't think any real movement has happened with it. Otherwise, we would have to.
Okay, so it hasn't been closed or dropped or settled or anything like that yet? It's still out there? Okay. Regarding this aggregation program, I think some good points are made. The letter did clarify some things, I'll admit that. But this whole month 15 question that's being asked, I think that needs to be explained better somewhere along the line during this education process. Because there are people that have, as Joanne mentioned, that had bad experiences with independent, with non-aggregation, but just independent third-party suppliers, where that's very month where the contract ends, you get whammed with an increased rate, and people are fearful of that because that month 15 hasn't been explained well, I don't believe, in this letter.
Indeed, I'm really interested in this point that you bring up, and that I started to drive at. We're gonna, anybody who is going to opt out would be floating with the market, right? I mean, you don't get a lot.
Controlled by the Board of Public Utilities it's controlled by the Board of Public Utilities, so yes, they're.
Okay, so that rate that you would get jacked up with, let's say, month 15, is what everybody's paying anyway.
Yeah, I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about
If you're still in the program.
if you're still, there's been experiences where people going to independent third-party suppliers, they sign a 12-month contract. After the 12th month, they forget or neglect to cancel it, and this independent third-party contractor jacks it up on them on month 13. That's independent. I understand that's not going to happen in this. I understand it, and you understand it, but people getting that letter don't understand it.
Okay. We'll get some clarity on that for you and for our residents.
Individuals outside of this aggregation program can contract a third-party supplier on their own. Always have been. That's been around for 10 plus years in the state, where it's kind of been deregulated in a way. And there's a website to go to, Choose Energy, I think is the name of it, New Jersey state-sponsored website that lists all the options you have that you can select for third-party on your own for third-party electricity suppliers. And so I went on there, and I found a multitude of options an individual can have that are lower than this rate that's being offered to the aggregation program. And even one from Tri-Eagle, who won the bid for Atlantic City Electric, which I'm a customer of Atlantic City Electric. Even Tri-Eagle was you could get a 12-month fixed contract, so it's very comparable to what we're talking about. A 12-month fixed contract for 09560 per kilowatt hour instead of 09782, which is what's being offered to residents in this aggregation program. So it's,
Can I stop you there?
Yes.
Because you bring up a really good point.
yeah,
Joanne referenced a different number.
that's PSEG customers.
Okay.
And you could go the whole way down. I'd mentioned Tri-Eagle itself. You could get a whole 2 cents lower than this aggregation program is offering the residents. You could pick a different supplier. I didn't jot down the name of it, but you could go down the whole way. This was only a 6-month fixed contract, so it's not apples and apples, but it's fixed and it's 6 months, and you can renew it on your own independently without an aggregation program. But it was 08790, a full 10 cents per kilowatt hour lower than what's being offered through this aggregation program. Again, it's a 6-month program, a 6 months fixed time frame versus 14. But I'm having trouble understanding how these 3 municipalities got together and we had the buying power of 40,000 households or whatever it was, and we didn't do better than what is being offered the residents. When I can do better all on my own, a household of 1. I can do better. And any resident in town can do better. Every resident in town can do better as a household of 1, count of 1.
And you have that option.
So what are we doing here?
So we've gone from, why are we doing this, to now, why didn't you get a better rate? That's the argument this week. No, I want an answer, if you can, because
It's the same.
It's not
Why are
good
we doing
enough.
this with the rate? With the rates not
it's
even.
not a good enough rate.
Yeah.
It went from, why is there a opt-out, why are we doing this, now it's not a good enough rate.
You know,
I'm not going to be able
you
to
can.
satisfy you, Pete. I'm not going to be able to satisfy
Okay.
you. I'm not going to be able to satisfy your answer.
Why are you changing the subject?
No,
My question. My question was.
You're quoting cents 0.09. I don't
Yeah,
have the
that's what you
information.
asked for. When Ray was asking questions, you asked for numbers. I'm giving you numbers.
No, I asked for background information, because I was also told in January at our reorg that we were sending things out. and
So what am I?
soliciting-
How do I need to
May I
ask
finish?
it?
May I finish? We were soliciting energy aggregation. And Ray never came back with that information. But that was January. And that was done at reorg.
I think something might come good out of this, okay? And this is following up. We've got this program that's generating conversation. You found information that would allow a homeowner to get a better rate. I'm assuming you're accurate. I mean, I'm pretty good at these things. So if a person opts out, you can alternatively select something like this. They're better for it.
Yeah, that's.
But most people are probably not going to look into this issue at all. And they still will do better, unless you're Joanne, with what we're doing. So maybe it could be a win-win or just a win.
So that's why you're doing it, to help, so you can help the residents who don't look into this on their own. Is that why we're doing this then? That was my question.
That's
Orlando
why-
didn't like the way.
That's why I'm doing
I'm
it.
trying to ask it correctly so Orlando.
No, we're doing
Likes
this
the
to save
question.
the residents money on their
Yeah.
utility bills. And you were part of these conversations 2 years ago. You sat in on those meetings.
And
And we waited 2 years to get a better rate.
Right.
Are you going to save money? Over 14 months, yes.
So what's the concept of a 3 municipality buying power aggregation when
Economy
one
of
household
scale,
can do better?
buying power.
No, but that's what I'm saying. We didn't achieve economy of scale.
That's a 6-month program.
No, I got a 12-month program that saved I gave you, want me to repeat the numbers I was going through? Through Tri-Eagle, same supplier, a 12-month fixed program on this website as one individual, Atlantic City Electric customer, I can get .09560 per kilowatt hour compared to 09782, which is being offered.
Now, beyond that, though, I mean,
That's Tri-Eagle. That wasn't even a low-cost supplier. I could go lower than that myself.
So Tri-Eagle is out there advertising
Well, it's available as an
this
approved,
number,
it's available as an approved supplier in New Jersey
and they're
on this
saying
website.
they're going to produce that rate for anybody who wants to come.
Yes. And that's not even the low one. I can go down the whole way down to .08790.
And is that geographically,
I put in my zip code. You put in your zip code and confirm you got the right one. It says, are you an Atlantic City Electric customer? It was, just in case the zip codes.
so you're gonna do that for one of those two? You're gonna opt out and pursue that, am I correct?
Well, I don't know what I'm going to do. That's not why.
Well, I just wanna follow it if you do it.
Likely. I'm not going to do the aggregate. I'm going to go on my own one way or another. Yes. Yes. Because of the research I did, and you're right. This program prompted me to do this research. I've been just buying it directly from the utility all these years, like most everyone else. But it's cheaper than a 3-month three municipality buying power contract was given. And this number I gave you was only a little cheaper. That was just Tri-Eagle. Like I said, I can go way lower with a 6-month contract. But there's other options that are sort of in between those numbers. There are 12 months that are variable. There's all kinds of options, but they were practically all of them, but 1 or 2 outliers were better than what's being offered through the aggregation program.
Are there any fees to opt
Well, I
out?
don't know the fi-
Listening to what Ms. Carr said earlier about venturing into third party, are there any fees with opting out?
It's a good question.
or-
I didn't dig that deep, but I imagine since this is a contract, it's not the aggregation program, you're signing a contract, you have to stay in for the length of the contract, or you incur some kind of penalty, I would imagine.
And at the end of 6 months.
You have to make another selection. Yeah.
Right, there could be a change or a fluctuation where it may take you time to get out. I'm just listening to what Ms. Carr went through earlier with a third party, and I'm just wondering if it's possible that you may have that same type of issue.
Well, you have to, it won't be if you stay on top of it. You could slip and let it roll over and hit yourself and get yourself in trouble. And that won't happen here, I'll grant you that.
Right, I think that's the one point, good point you're making. I don't think a lot of people will stay on top of, I know I've been victim to that once in a while, will stay on top of, making sure every 6-month point or every 6-month point, this will just be something extra.
Well, that's a point, but that's different from the 3 municipality buying power that we're being told.
That's what I'm talking about.
Yes.
I'll be honest with you,
Yep.
one of the big selling points of this program for me is you take, 3 municipalities
Yes.
purchasing power and that should produce significant savings.
That's what,
Pete, can I ask you a question? Have you done the calculation, like what you would save over the course of the year if you went with one of those?
I can do it in my
I'm
head.
just curious.
It's $7 a month saving a penny.
Right.
That's what this program, so if I save 3 pennies, that's $21 a month. If I save 10 pennies, that's,
Right.
that's just.
It's a fair question. I'm just wondering what the background is with the other companies, that maybe that's why it wasn't.
I'm sure there's a few more fine print and restrictions in this program offers, I'll admit that, but
But it's a fair point, apples to apples, apples to oranges. I mean, it's just-
and the ads we're seeing, the TV ads that we're seeing all over, they're like campaign puff pieces. Why don't they explain some of this? Why don't they say you can go to NewJerseyEnergy.com or whatever this was and see competitive rates to compare to what's being offered? Why, instead of when they're walking through the meadow, the 3 mayors, maybe they could edit that out when they're smiling, talking, and walking through the meadow.
I don't know if I'm Joe constituent, if I'm capable of interpreting the issue and determining if it's an apples to apples comparison. Do you follow what I'm saying?
14-month fixed is all you have to, is the app is the only
I'm
Apple.
hoping it's that simple,
Yeah.
that it's just, term.
No, I'll already admit, I'm sure there's fine print that you cannot opt out at any time, like you can with the aggregation. You can't opt in or out at will, like we can with the aggregation program. I'm sure once you sign this 12-month or 6-month contract, when you do it on your own, you're in it for 6 months or 12 months, and you're penalized if you don't stick out that period. But still, like Dan agreed, the 3 municipality buying power isn't holding water at all. It's not even close. Not even close.
Thank you for your comments. Anyone else? Seeing none, we'll close the second portion. Board of Directors.
Parkins,
Nothing to report.
Mr. Barlamere,
Nothing to report.
Ms. Sarah,
Nothing to report.
Mr. Angelo,
Nothing to report.
Mr. Hutchison.
Thank you very much for coming this evening.
Mr. Schmidt.
Thank you for all your comments, and thank you also for coming this evening.
Mrs. Stubbs.
Thank you everyone for taking the time to be here. Have a good evening.
Mrs. Winters. Thank everyone for coming out. Have a safe and happy 4th of July. Mr. Vignani.
Thank you all for coming. Have a wonderful week.
Mrs. Strada.
Thank you, everyone, and have a great week and a good holiday weekend.
Mr. Mercado.
I want to thank everyone for coming out this evening. Thank you, CFO Eric, for sitting in for Mr. Cardis. I want to wish everyone a wonderful 4th of July. Just one note, yesterday, myself and Councilman Young were in Franklin Square there for their reorganization of their association there. A wonderful part of our town, wonderful people. You have an opportunity to sit down with them and they talk about the history of this township and so many things that have gone and the changes that have gone through our township. And it was just a wonderful time there. I know Michael had a good time there. But I just want to thank the residents for inviting us to their reorganization. With that, I entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Is there a second? All those in favor? Aye. Thank you.